Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Mark. I'm doing my Diet Coke interviews, continuing in that vein. And I'm with Marty Richardson, who is our minister of music, or what do you call yourself?
The,
Worship leader,
the,
right?
the worship guy.
Yeah, the worship. He's the worship guy, is who he is. So, Marty, how long you been at Spring Baptist now?
Coming up on 6 years.
6 years, okay. And you came here from,
First Baptist Church of Gainesville, Texas,
yeah,
almost Oklahoma.
yeah, it's kind of southern Oklahoma, really.
Really, it is, totally.
Yeah, Texas actually does not claim Gainesville.
I know they don't, but it's the last Starbucks and taco place before you get out
It's
of the
true.
promised land.
That is true. That's true. So, well, before you go in the ministry, you ought to be saved, right?
I hope so.
And I know that's a question with a lot of music ministers, whether or not they've actually been born again. But can you tell our viewing audience about your salvation experience, how old you were, what happened?
Oh, for sure. I was about 7 years old, and it was in October in Virginia. And that's the reason I remember it is because I was sitting in the church, and the pastor, well, he gave the gospel plea as a good Baptist pastor does, right? And I was sitting there, and the sun was kind of coming in through the. I was sitting on the right hand aisle, and God just said, "You need to respond. I want to change your life." And in my heart, I'm like, "I need this." So I walked down the aisle. It was October. My church did not have a heated baptistry, and
Mm-hmm.
so we had to baptize during the winter and fall in a little church down the street. And so it was just a little Baptist church, and God just said, "Marty, I want you, and I've saved you, and I can change your life."
And how
And
old were you?
I was 7 years old.
7 years old. Now, when you got older, you strayed from the Lord for a while, right?
I was a hot mess.
Yeah.
And so, really, what ended up happening is, I pretended
Mm-hmm.
a lot, but God was just, it's funny, you can stray as a believer for sure, but the Holy Spirit made me miserable the whole time.
Right.
And so it wasn't until my call to ministry, and I ignored that for a while. But God brought me to a place where He said, "You can follow the call to ministry, or I'm going to pull the call from your life, and you're going to lose your marriage."
Wow.
And I had to make a choice at that point.
How old were you at that time, roughly?
I was about 22, 23.
22, 23 years old. So you were just a young man, and
I was a
I know you
mess.
were like in the restaurant business for a while.
I did all sorts of things. I worked in a sheet metal shop. I
Mm-hmm.
started a telecommunications company. I managed a restaurant.
Yeah.
I worked for Brooks Brothers, the suit company. I even sold dishes. At one point, I was trying to find that thing that God had called me to do, but I was ignoring the fact that 16 years old in the balcony of Carson Newman College during a camp, God called me to ministry, and I knew at 16 I was supposed to do ministry, but I ran from it, and I was miserable.
So did you have an actual time that you just kind of threw up the white flag of surrender? And if you did, how did that happen? Where you just said, "Okay, God, anywhere, anytime, any place, I'm ready."
Well, it was actually a February.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming up. It was right after my first anniversary, and my life was a mess. I was doing destructive things, and it just all kind of, as God does, He brought it to the light. And my loving wife, she just walked with me through the mess and through my addictions and through my problems. And I found a church home
Mm-hmm.
where the church loved me, and and I found a place to serve and ministers that taught me what it meant to be in the ministry.
That's fantastic. Well, now you mentioned Connie, your
Yes,
wife. How long have you been married?
we this will be our 20th anniversary this year,
Yeah.
and so we met when we were 16 years old in chemistry class. There was
Yeah.
some chemistry there.
I know that you love Spring Baptist Church, and that is very obvious when you're leading in worship. You love the Lord, you love the people here. But what is your favorite thing about Spring Baptist Church?
Wow, there's so many things that I love about the church. Their giving spirit is one. When I was here about 2 years, they could just tell that kind of ministry takes its toll. And some folks through a bunch of different things, they figured out we needed a vacation, and we had just had a kid. We didn't have the resources, and through about five different things, and then the choir and the orchestra, they sent us on vacation because they sensed that we needed a break and a recharge.
Right.
And that's the kind of people they are. They take care of us, they love us, um, and we found friendships here that I we lived in one place for so long. I never thought we would have friendships like we have here, and God made them quickly.
Yeah.
And He the people here are just extraordinary.
They really are. We felt the same way when we left Oklahoma. We were very happy in the church that we were in there, and we're not looking to go anywhere. And part of our fear was probably what you had, is that we didn't know anybody here in Spring, didn't have any family members, any friends, anything like that. But I found exactly the same thing. This church embraces the staff, they love the staff, they support the staff, and it's been fantastic. Okay, now I'm back up just a little bit.
Yes,
So
sir.
you've been married to Connie, it'll be 20 years.
Yes, sir.
How many children do you have, Marty?
We have 7 and 1 on the way.
7 and 1 on the way. You have 7 girls. Most of you know that, but you have 7 girls, and the one on the way is
It's a boy.
it's a boy. So that's fantastic. Now you quitting now, or you don't know? Whatever it might be, huh?
Ask me later.
Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this interview to get to know Marty just a little bit better. And we love you guys and thank the Lord for you. And stay safe and stay healthy. We're praying for you. God bless.